Hey everyone, it's November 26th, and that means that if today's your birthday, you share it with British-born Australian serial killer John Wayne Glover, known as the Granny Killer, who murdered at least a half dozen victims, and that is him right up there. Glover was born in England in 1932 and was a petty thief in his teen years. After dropping out of school at 14, he joined the British Army, but he was expelled from the ranks when his previous convictions for stealing clothing and handbags were discovered. He moved to Australia to try and start a new life in 1956, first living in Melbourne. He didn't start anew, however, and ended up being convicted of larceny in both Victoria and New South Wales over the next couple of years. Glover always had conflict with the older women in his life, especially his mother, and when he married an Australian woman, he had repeated issues with his mother-in-law. Despite these issues, he was a volunteer for the Senior Citizens Society, and the seniors he interacted with considered him to be a nice, trustworthy man. His first violent crimes came in 1962 when he was convicted of severely beating multiple women and stealing their clothing. Things seemed to settle down as he now had a wife and two kids and worked selling pies to nursing homes. But in 1989, at age 56, he committed another violent crime, this time with deadly consequences. Glover saw an 82-year-old woman walking down the street and followed her to her apartment. As she opened the front door, he cracked her in the head with a hammer, then beat her with it, breaking her ribs. He fled with her purse, and the woman died after police arrived. With no leads or witnesses, Aussie authorities assumed it was just a mugging gone wrong. 2 months later, Glover followed an 84-year-old woman to her apartment where he assaulted her with his hammer. This time he jumped on her after she collapsed and bashed her head against the pavement near a rubbish bin, then removed her pantyhose and strangled the poor woman with them. He fled the scene with her purse, and police realized they had a killer on their hands, but no evidence to indicate who it was. Over the next year, he killed 4 more women in similar fashion, all ranging in age from 60 to 93. By the time he killed his 5th victim, police had gathered enough evidence to know that the perpetrator was a portly, middle-aged man with gray hair and had a $250,000 reward for information leading to his capture. In the middle of his killing spree, he groped an elderly woman at a nursing home while on his pie sales route, and the employees there got his license plate number as he fled. When detained, he denied the activity and police let him go, not having enough evidence to tie him to the murders just yet. His final murder victim was a woman he knew, and though he was under surveillance at the time, he slipped his tail and made his way to her house. When police figured out where he was, they entered the home to find the woman dead and Glover unconscious in a filled bathtub. When awakened, he told police that he and the woman had been having a relationship, and after killing her, he swallowed a handful of pills. At trial, he pleaded not guilty by reason of diminished responsibility, and a psychiatrist testified that his anger was due to relationships with his mother and mother-in-law. The jury was unconvinced, and he was convicted of murder. While in prison in 2005, he sketched a park in which 2 trees stood, with the number 9 written on one of the trees. Days later, Glover hanged himself in a cell, and investigators believe that the number 9 was meant to represent the number of unsolved murders he committed, putting his total body count at 15. If this is your birthday, hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know someone whose birthday it is today, send them this video so they can find out all about their birthday twin. And to John Wayne Glover, I say, happy birthday, you bastard.